What's up, witches? Excuse me while someone makes biscuits on my boobs. Ma'am, please, my gosh. What's up? Surprise! Surprise! What's going on? Are any witches up? What's up? What's up? What's up? If you're there, say hey, say what's up. Drop an emoji or something. This is a surprise to the both of us. What's up, witches? Let's see. Let me know if you can hear me, see me. Can you see Kitty molesting my boobs? Hey, Leslyn. What's up? Happy new moon. Happy new moon. What's up, guys? Say what's up when you pop in the room. Surprise. Okay, good. Good. What's up, witches? How we doing? Happy new moon. I know, right? You know, she rarely clocks out. She is on the clock. She's on the clock. She's so good. It's 10:30. Still working? How precious. Hey, Zebulon. Let me tell you, speaking of timing, I was not expecting to be live on YouTube right now. I was just live on my OnlyFans. And the message that came through for the collective was so resonant and so specific and clear with these new cards that I got that I was like, I got to share this with my witches. I got to share this with my Bronx witches. So I decided to pop over here and do a little reading for you guys over here because I feel like this new moon energy. Are we clocking out? Okay. All right. I think she's clocking out. Okay. Here we go. There you go. Good. All right. Okay. She's on break. I felt like this new moon, I don't know. It feels kind of like heavy. I don't know how you guys are feeling, how you're navigating today's new moon or what have you, but it felt a little stuck for me. And it was so interesting because when I was live over on OnlyFans, that's like exactly what came through in the message was like the expansiveness and the newness of Sagittarius energy is something that I think many of us really want to embrace, but feel like we can't quite get there. Like there's something holding us up. Like there's somewhere we want to go. There's a change we want to make. There's newness that we want to experience and see, but we're not exactly sure what the next step should be or how we can actually like turn this vision in our heads into a reality. And so I was kind of dealing with that a little bit today, among some other things, typical empath shit. And I was just like, ugh. I really needed the message that came through. And, my OnlyFans is very new. I only have like 5 fans. Shout out to my 5 fans. And I was like, more people need to get this message. So I wanted to do that. Yay! Thank you for ordering, Leslin. It was so cool to pack up a package for you. Usually you're at the shop and able to grab stuff. So it was really nice to like put a little extra love and package up everything you needed. So I'm glad you got it today. That was quick. It just went out. So that's good. Yes. Shout out to promotions. You're becoming a bud tender. You know what's so interesting about that? In New York, we, legalized cannabis for adult recreational use. And there's been a whole bunch of lawsuits and a whole bunch of what have yous going on with that. And they recently opened up the applications for shops generally. So they had opened applications first for like justice involved business owners, which I totally, totally support. Okay. One of the best things that New York has done in this whole process of legalizing is they um, passed a law that basically the first 100 licenses were going to go to people who had been basically incarcerated as a result of cannabis being illegal. And I think that's totally fair. Like, if you had your business taken away from you, you lost your business because you went to jail for a little bit of weed, and then they up and legalize it, and you have to deal with the repercussions of that forever. Like, no, you should get your first shake at getting a license so you can open up your cannabis business. I think that's totally fair. But they have now opened up the application process for everybody else. So I was looking into that to see how much it would be for HQ to sell cannabis and get a micro license. So looking into that, working on that. So that's so funny because I was just thinking about bud tenders today. Absolutely. Absolutely. I feel like 2024 is going to be, it's so interesting that I felt called to go live for this Sagittarius new moon because I feel like this is the energy of 2024. Newness, starting over, and like big expansion. And, I feel like we talk about that kind of a little bit every year, right? Like, this is going to be my year. I'm going to just explode. But I definitely really feel like 2024 has an interesting energy of momentum. And it's kind of not surprising if you get into numerology because 2024 is an 8 year, and 8 is all about momentum. Whenever I think of the number 8, I think of the 8 of Wands, and I just think about full steam ahead. We don't even necessarily know where we're going. Sky's the limit. We could end up anywhere, but right now it's about the go, go, go. So I really feel like 2024 is going to be an expansive year for a lot of us, for the collective in general, but just for everyone. And I definitely think that, this energy of newness and expansion that we're feeling right now around this new moon is also kind of setting the stage for what we're going to experience in 2024. And I think that's why I wanted to jump on and share this message or share a message with everybody, because I feel like this is the message that we need in order to prepare ourselves for the next year and like take full advantage of it. Yeah, Leslin does have a cool name. I agree. Leslin's also pretty cool. Yeah. Well, so this is licenses not for use. This is licenses for shops. Um, so it's thousands of dollars for shops. If you want a retail dispensary, I think the fee is like $7,000 or something like that. I'm looking into micro business licensing, which means I'm not trying to be a full dispensary, but I would like HQ to be able to carry cannabis along with all of the other herbs that we carry. We have over 50 herbs and roots in our apothecary, and I would like, hemp and cannabis to be amongst the mix, but I would need a special license for that, and that would be like, I think it was like $1,000 to apply, and then like $4,000 for the actual license, and I think that's every year. So it ain't cheap. But I was looking into it. Hey, Tarot Stash, welcome. So glad you could catch this one. This is a total surprise to all of us. Oh, I love that, Leslyn. Hey, what's up, Destiny? Ooh, numerology is hidden, huh? Yeah. Hi, Erica. Welcome, welcome, welcome. Yeah, so like I was saying, I was live a little while ago on my OnlyFans, and the message that came through was just so potent and so clear that I was like, I have to share this with more than just my 5 OnlyFan fans. Let's shout out to my 5 OnlyFan fans. But I definitely got to share it with more people. I love when you guys link up. I really do. That's one of my favorite things about the Coven community. Our virtual Coven space is a lot of people end up finding out that they are in the same state or, close by or what have you. And I think that's really important because I think having community of witches is super important. For those of you who take it seriously. No offense, a lot of you are here because you like candles and sparkly purple things, and that is just fine. But for those of us who really want to live a different type of lifestyle, maybe than what we were raised with, and we really want to live a pagan life, finding community is so, so important because it's hard to be different, right? It's very hard to be different. And when you do it on your own, it can be very scary. So when you have other people who are different like you know that you have a community of people who will understand you, who will support you, who will want to talk about the things you want to talk about or go shopping the places you want to go shopping. It's important for witches to have witchy friends. I really do firmly believe that. And that's why we have the virtual Coven community, because sometimes you have to look a little past your town or past your city or maybe even past your state in order to find other folks that are like you. So I like that you guys are connecting. Yay. Yeah, Colorado, I've been just once. And, or wait, no, twice. Twice. And it is absolutely beautiful. Yes. Yeah. Well, listen, don't wish, make it happen. Make it happen. Joining communities is really important. Even if you join an online community and the first people that you meet don't live in your city, don't live in your town, it always circles you back around. I knew what you meant. I knew what you meant. And yes, I think that's really important too. I'm really glad that you mentioned that, Tarot Stash, because um especially if you are a witch that doesn't necessarily match the like aesthetic of what you see online, right? So if you go online, if you go right on this platform and you search for anything witchy, like, no offense, 9 times out of 10 you are going to encounter someone who identifies as female and who is white. And if you are not both of those things, if you are not one of those things, if you're not any of those things, then you might really feel like you are alone. And I can tell you, there are so many male witches. There are so many witches of color. There are so many queer witches. There are so many disabled witches. There are so many witches, Christian witches. There are so many witches that don't necessarily match what you will see getting like the most traction and the most exposure online. And the only way you're going to know that is if you investigate a little bit and start celebrating spaces that bring witches of all different walks of life together. And sometimes you have to work a little bit harder, unfortunately, to find folks like you. But I do think that virtual spaces make that a lot easier, you know? Yeah, I find Colorado to be so fascinating. It is very diverse, in my opinion, at least the places where I have gone. Um, and just the views are just beautiful. So beautiful. Dolomane says Jesus is king. Ooh, shout out to Jesus. Did you know that he was from Bethlehem and Bethlehem is currently under rubble? I certainly hope you are doing lots to call for a ceasefire and doing everything you absolutely can in order to bring aid, attention, awareness, love, and support to the people of Palestine, Jesus's brothers and sisters. Thank you for reminding us of that. Gerald, pleasure. Allie. Yeah, same. Same. Not a lot of like little black witches from the hood, on the witchy like news feeds. But we're out here, you know what I'm saying? And finding community is really important because it can be really lonely. And you would be so surprised how many witches will literally just be like right down the street. But it does require sometimes looking a little harder than it might for other people, and that's just kind of the hand we've been dealt. Wow. That is bold. Speaking of, that is very new moon Sagittarius energy. Completely just throwing caution to the wind, going out of your comfort zone, and starting over without a clear idea necessarily of even how it's going to turn out. Just knowing that you want that and making it happen. That is pretty. First of all, that's super brave and amazing. Very much the energy. Aw, single dads in the house. Yes. Yeah, I have to say I only got to spend a brief amount of time in Colorado, but I thought it was so beautiful. Who was that? Dolomane? Dolomane, we haven't heard anything from you, dear, since your Jesus is King comment. Would you like to share your thoughts on what's happening in Bethlehem right now? What are you doing to stop it? I don't think Jesus would love that. What's being done to Bethlehem right now? The children are under the rubble. I certainly hope all the Christians, this time of year in particular, are really taking a moment to think about that and then do something about it. Yeah. And it is a practice, and it is very much a practice. It very much is a practice. I feel so strongly that, the title of witch is an identity that you can choose to embrace or not. There are a lot of really powerful people who don't necessarily embrace that identity and don't embrace that word and don't have like the fuzziest feelings about the word. And I totally respect that. And I get it. But I would have to say, no matter what you call yourself, whatever you do repeatedly, whatever you infuse into your actual life, whatever you make a lifestyle choice about, you are just going to get better at it. I think that's why I call my podcast and the coaching program BetterWitch, because it's not about being like the best. It's not about being the most powerful, the most accurate tarot reader, the most powerful witch, the most, it's about getting better. And every day you get better at something if you practice it. If you don't, you won't. And that's really just how it is. And I think the internet sometimes can cause people to lose sight of that, especially when we see people like transform or do things online. To us, it feels like it's overnight, or like it just happened, or like they got really lucky, or maybe even like they just casted for it or manifested for it. But honestly, anything that you get better at is a result of practice, always. I've never seen anybody not practice something and then just get better. Single parents are so amazing. Let me tell you something. They're, honey, okay? I do not get the kid thing. No offense to the parents. I don't get it. I just don't know why. It just seems like a real just shit show, the whole thing. But if I had to do it, like, oh my gosh, the assistance I would need? What? I would need, forget another parent. I would need a full-time team. Do you understand me? Full-time employees working round the clock. Round the clock. Okay? You mean to tell me y'all are just out here like turning babies into adult people? What? What? Every day that Eartha Kitty survives, every day that my cat lives, I am blown away. Blown away. I don't know how I could like a human child. I leave my cat alone for hours on end, 8, 9, 10 hours. I just leave. She's just here to her own devices. I'm like, figure it out, girl. I'll be back. You can't do that with a human child. I would need a full-time team around the clock. Ooh, I love that. I love that. I think that is a great way. Oh, yes, that is a great way to look at the journey of being a witch. It is a lifestyle that you are embracing. And yes, you are going to gain amazing things. You are going to get to know yourself in a way that you could never have imagined. You are going to understand, honestly, the universe. I know it probably sounds kind of braggadocious to be like, I understand how the universe works. But like, I do, at least for me, right? Like, how things work is not a big question mark for me. My practice and the lifestyle that I live has kind of filled in the blanks, for a lot of things and given me answers to a lot of things. Are they the right answers? Who the fuck knows? But they're answers that really resonate with me, make sense for me, and help me to live a better life. And today, case in point, perfect example, um I am an empath, as many of you guys are, so I'm singing to the choir here. You guys probably already know that when it comes to being an empath, that can be very difficult because we don't just recognize that people are having an emotional experience. We actually go through that experience with them. And today, my current husband, to be ex-husband, was here, um, clearing more things out of the apartment. This is obviously not an easy time for me. It's an even less easy time for him. And there is just so much like sadness and pain that he is feeling that I have also felt, but kind of previously. Like we're in different stages of our grieving, and I'm I have already been where he was. So I've gotten to kind of move on to like, I don't remember what the steps of griefs are, but I'm like at like acceptance or something like that. I don't know. I'm not at the starting stages and he's still in the early stages. And when he came over, like I was already having not the easiest day. Um, and then all of a sudden, like, but I wasn't sad, but then he came over and it was just like, oh, he left, and I was just like so sad, and it just kind of hit me like a ton of bricks. And I probably should have been expecting it, but I wasn't like ready. I didn't prepare myself for it, but that's okay. It's okay that I didn't prepare myself for it because of my practice, I know what to do. I know what to do. I knew immediately that I wasn't feeling my own sadness. I recognized immediately that while, yes, I've got my own stressors going on, I've got my own concerns, I've got a to do list out the ass crack. It would like span across this room. And so much going on with trying to figure out, if headquarters is going to survive, what's the next step for me? So much going on, but that intense sadness that I felt was not my own. And if I wasn't a practitioner, if I hadn't done what I've done to learn and all of those things, I would not have known that. You know what I mean? And I could have just slipped into a really depressive evening. But instead, I said, nope, this is not my shit. Okay. These are not my emotions that I'm feeling right now. What do I do to shake this off? And I was like, let me go live. So I went live on OnlyFans first, which I'd already planned to do because over there I'm doing like a topless tarot Tuesday thing. I just started, so it's like very brand new, but I've been playing around with that. And I was like, let me go live. Let me go live. Let me shake off this energy. Let me open myself up to like what everybody else is going through. And let me do something that I really love, that truly makes me happy, that makes me feel purposeful, that kind of gets my ball rolling. And that's doing tarot readings. And that is exactly what I needed. And then on top of that, the message that came through for the collective was so spot on for what I needed to hear. And really resonated with me deeply. So it was perfect because I got a word, but I also got to like turn my attitude around a little bit. So I wanted to share that with you guys. I want to pull some cards for you guys. I have a ton of work to do, so I really should not stay up late. I am the only shop witch in the shop at the present moment. So I am running the shop 5 days a week on top of all of the other things that I am working on top of all of the admin for the shop. I'm the everything. I'm the marketing team. I'm the accountant. I'm the housekeeper. I clean the toilets. I do it all. And that is fucking exhausting. I'm not even going to pretend. There's like no way around it. It is absolutely exhausting. So I really shouldn't stay up late because I've got work to do. Tomorrow is module 7 for the Better Witch Magic Intensive Coaching Program for my Better Witches. So after I'm done with the shop for 10 hours, then I will be teaching for 2 hours on elemental alchemy. So it's going to be a long day. So I won't be here too late. But yeah, I had to come drop these messages. Yes, immensely helpful. Immensely helpful. A lot of empaths suffer just because they don't know that they're empaths and they don't know the difference between their own energy and their own emotions and others. And so they'll have these wild emotional roller coasters that can easily get like misdiagnosed for something, or that they, can think is their own stuff. And sometimes it's not even your own shit. Sometimes it's the sadness or the anger or the whatever of somebody else in your vicinity, somebody that you live with, or a friend, a coworker, or what have you. Oh, did my light just go out? It did. I'm not mad at it. I should have used this lighting on I was on OnlyFans earlier. This is romantic. I like this. I was gonna go plug it in, but I'm not gonna. I'm gonna leave it like that. Wait, can you guys see me still? Move my lamp a little bit. Oh, okay. Okay. I'm not mad at it. I kind of like it. All right. The other thing is I got a new deck. Woohoo! We always like that, right? Shout out to Samantha. I don't know if she follows me on YouTube, but shout out to Samantha, one of our community members, community witches, who has been so kind to donate to the shop. And Samantha sent a beautiful donation of like 15 dope ass decks to the shop. And usually I don't, take them for myself. They usually get cleansed and shrink wrapped and put out on the shelf for everybody else to enjoy. But this one really called to me. This is called the Everyday Witch Oracle by Deborah Blake. Probably know that name because she does a lot of, I want to say Llewellyn. Yeah, I want to say Llewellyn. She does a lot of like the Llewellyn almanacs and the Sabbath books and stuff like that. I think she's like, I don't know if she's like a staff writer or something like that, but she does a lot of writing for Llewellyn. Hey, you're having some Earl Grey tea. Love that. Is anybody else having tea right now? This is totally a surprise. So if you're not, it's okay. I kind of, you know, caught you unawares. So I don't expect, even though you're all witches, I don't expect you to just be walking around with cups of tea all the time. Yay. Okay, good. You're going to get to see it a little bit. So it called to me. Um, a deck must really be speaking to me if I get a glossy deck. I don't really like glossy cards typically because I have small hands and shuffling is hard enough. And the glossiness usually makes them super slippery and really hard to control. So I'm typically not a big fan. But as I was flipping through these cards, getting ready to cleanse them, they really stuck with me because when I am choosing a deck, um, and I don't get a lot, I do have, let's see if I can show you. You see those up there? Plus my tarot box. Okay, so I do have a good handful of decks, but I wouldn't call myself a collector at all. And I really don't buy decks just to buy them. I don't like to spend money, on stuff I don't really need, especially witchy stuff, because been there, done that. I'm no longer in that stage of my game. When I buy witchy things, it's for a purpose. And when it comes to decks, I typically don't buy new ones unless there's really something specific about them that I feel like I need. Some people do tarot because of maybe the spiritual growth or whatever, right? Some people do tarot because, or buy tarot cards because they just really like them. They want to collect them, or they just like the way that they look or something like that. And there's absolutely nothing wrong with that. That's just not me. I don't like tarot decks that are just pretty, or that's not it for me. For me, tarot serves a very specific purpose of divination. It is, for me, again, to get answers, period, point blank. It is so that I can get answers to my questions. It is so that I can communicate with my guides, my guardians, the spirits, angels, ancestors that are with me. I want to be able to speak with them clearly. The universe speaks in frequency, it doesn't speak with a voice. And sometimes that can be hard to understand. It can be hard to, pick up on. It can be hard to interpret. That's like really what it is. A lot of times you feel the shifts in energy, you feel the frequency, but you don't necessarily know what it's supposed to mean, and that is what tarot is for. It is for me to translate those frequencies into something that I can actually understand. And I love that. Steak and sparkling cider. Okay. All right. That sounds like a celebration. Yes. Okay. All right. All right. So I figure we'll get into it because, like I said, I have lots of work to do and I should not be here super late, even though I already feel so much better. But do have work to do. Okay. Hey, girl. Hey. Welcome, Desi. I love your picture. What's up? So, yeah, got this new deck. Shout out to Samantha for the donation. I did have to keep this one for myself. So many beautiful decks came in the donation. They're all in the shop. They're all available for you guys. But this one I had to snag for myself. I was surprised at it. But like I was saying, like, even though it doesn't match the look of the type of deck that I would usually get myself, it really spoke to me because the messages on it were very straightforward and clear. And I like that. I'm not trying to go through like mental gymnastics when I'm interpreting a card. Like, no, that's why I sat down and do this reading. I need a yes or no. I need a do this, do that kind of a thing. And that's how this deck is set up. It's the Everyday Witch Oracle. So it's basically messages for witches. What can you do today? What can you focus on today? It's different aspects of like what a witch does in their day, in their life, in their practice. And I think that's important because sometimes, you need the magic and the mundane. You want guidance from spirit about like what to do in your mundane life, but you also want to know, like, should I be casting for this? Should I maybe do a ritual? Should I be meditating about this? Should I maybe do a spiritual bath? Like, what magically can I do to support the mundane thing that I'm doing? And this deck felt like it would be perfect for figuring out what are the magical things that we could be doing for whatever it is. So today's theme is today's new moon. It's a new moon in Sagittarius. Y'all know I am no astrologer, but Sagittarius energy is ruled by Jupiter. And whenever I think of Sagittarius, the first thing I think of is travel. The next thing I think of is like expansion, growing, and like getting out of your comfort zone. And I feel like a lot of us are trying to do that and trying to call that into our lives for 2024. I feel like there are really big shifts happening in the world, but also in our individual lives where things that we may have been laying the foundation for or planning for are now finally like really taking flight. So I felt like this new moon in Jupiter energy is not only relevant for Sagittarius energy is not only relevant for right now, today, literally as the new moon is happening, but that this is kind of the energy going into 2024. So I wanted to receive messages for all of us that would help us do that. So my question to Spirit today specifically is, how can each of us fully embrace and make the most of this new moon and Sagittarius energy? How can we travel outside of our comfort zones? How can we expand beyond where we currently are? How can we embrace newness, whether it's a new beginning or whether it's just a new chapter that we're stepping into? What is it magically that each of us as witches could do in order to fully embrace that, make the most of it, etc.? So it might take a little bit of time, but I'm going to try to go through all of the zodiacs. On my OnlyFans, I did just for the collective. All together, I did 3 cards for the whole collective. And I think for you guys, I'm going to do 1 for each zodiac. Okay. So we'll start at the top with Aries. And I'm going to try to go in order, so don't let me mess up and skip anybody. Keep me together. Okay, guys? So starting with Aries. Aries, how can you embrace this new moon and Sagittarius energy? What can you do magically to make the most of it? Aries, listening to wisdom is what you are going to want to do. Listening was kind of a theme as well in the collective message, specifically like through meditation. This for you feels in a lot of ways almost kind of audible. So I almost feel like Aries, you might benefit from dream work. Or perhaps even like being a little bit more intentional to the music that you are listening to. Perhaps playing some affirmations for yourself, playing some ancestral music, or maybe even going to talk to some of your elders, talking to your grandparents, talking to leaders, elders in your community. If you are interested in, if your new beginning or your expansion feels related to business or money, you might need to listen to a mentor, listen to a coach. But this is telling you that, there are wiser voices out there that you would really benefit from listening to. You don't have to reinvent the wheel. You don't have to do everything by yourself and figure out everything on your own. There are wiser people, wiser spirits, wiser energies in your vicinity, in your, in your world, that could really guide you and give you some really good insight. So don't be so hard-headed, Aries. Sometimes, I think Knight of Wands, Knight of Swords, like you just want to be full steam ahead. As soon as you have an idea, you want to just go, go, go. But this is saying, hold on. There are wiser voices out there that could help make sure that you fully expand with as much ease as possible. And so don't make things harder on yourself by trying to do it without guidance. Seek guidance and listen to the words of the wise people around you. Hey, Key, welcome. Not too much, my dear. I was live on my OnlyFans for Topless Tarot Tuesdays, and the message was so good that I decided to hop on and surprise you guys with a little tea and tarot. So, grab a cup and pull on up. I am pulling 1 card from this new deck, the Everyday Witch Oracle, for each zodiac, and I just did Aries. There we go, Desi. Listen to that wisdom. You are right on track. I feel like that always happens in the reading. People are like, I just started doing that. It's like, yes, because your spirits were already telling you that. I am just here to offer you confirmation and validation that you are on the right track. So that is absolutely what that message is for Aries. Listening to your wiser voices, the ancestors and elders in your space, in your culture, in your family, in your community, whatever it may be, because you don't have to do it all on your own. They can guide you or at least offer some advice. Right on time, right? Right on time. He may not come when you want him, but he's always on time. Glory. All right. So that was Aries. Next, Taurus. We're going to say Taurus. Okay. How can Taurus take advantage of this new moon and Sagittarius energy? How can you maximize this expansion happening today and into the new year? For Taurus. If these messages resonate with you guys, you can always send a super chat right here on YouTube. I very much appreciate it. It makes it possible for me to go live and do these. If you're watching this on a replay, you can leave a super thanks. And if you look in my description, you will see links to leave me a donation or book a private reading with me if you would like to explore these things more specifically for you and the questions that you have. Taurus, inspiration and courage. Inspiration and courage. This is so interesting that both of these messages are put on this card, because I would kind of think that they would need to be like on a separate card, because it's like inspiration is that first spark of creativity, that first spark of something. And then courage is like what you need to actually take the action. But for you, Taurus, the message is coming up together. It's like both of these things you need to embrace in order to expand beyond where you currently are and begin either over entirely or a new chapter. This kind of feels like it's a complete fresh start for you, Taurus, because of that inspiration message. It's almost like perhaps you've had like an ending. Something has ended for you in your life. And you actually need to have the fire relit in order for you to get started with something new. So for you, it might not be that you're working on something. You might be in like a pause period, an in-between period where you are totally resetting. And this is your opportunity to just not even, start a chapter, but start a whole new book. And it's like, well, what is that book even going to be? What is it even going to be? This is saying you need a spark of inspiration first before you can even take that next step. And then what you are inspired to do, you are going to need to be brave to do it. So there may be goals or avenues that you've wanted to explore that you won't even let yourself consider because you're so scared about it. It's something that you want, but it's like a really deep-seated desire. It's a really deep, deep, deep desire. It's something that you probably don't even talk to people about, tell people about, because you're afraid of what they would say, or they might laugh at you, or like, oh my gosh, that's so ridiculous. That's so out of your grasp. But Spirit is saying, don't keep it inside, okay? Allow yourself to be inspired by those desires and find the courage that you need to propel yourself forward. This is very much looking like ritual is going to be important, and divination is going to be important for you. Okay. When I needed courage in my life, when I was considering asking for a divorce, and I was so just like beside myself with fear at even saying the words, I actually had to do spell work on myself. I had to do a courage building spell on myself, and it was a candle spell. I took a figure candle of myself and took myself through the ritual. I bathed the candle the way I would bathe myself in a spiritual bath. And I had to actually work myself to bring courage into my body so that I could say the words that were deep, deep, deep inside. I feel like that's what you're going through, Taurus. And some spell work and some divination is going to help you not only to get inspired, but most importantly, to find the courage you need to take action once you are inspired. Ooh, what a great, yes, that's a great way to put it. Courage is the kerosene you need to turn a spark of inspiration to a creative inferno, right? Because you can have an idea, you can be inspired all day, but actually having the balls to turn it into reality, that is a whole other bag of chips. And I really like that Spirit is saying these two things go together. They go together for you, Taurus. That's great. It might be your moon rising signs might be in Taurus. If not, I would check your chart to see whether or not you have any planets in Taurus, because that will tell you something about like what area of your life this might be, like your personality this might be resonating in. Or look at your chart and see what house Taurus falls in, because perhaps there is an area of your life where that message like needs to go. I'll check that out. But Gemini is next, right? So let's see for the Geminis. How do you fully embrace this new moon in Sagittarius? How do you expand? What do you need to do to begin a new venture? Gemini, we have affirmations for positive change. So this is all about what do you call that? Our mental speak, the way we speak to ourselves. First of all, this is a big change. I love how she's literally leaving her dress on the shore and completely changing into her pirate's gear and embarking on something new. But interestingly, she's not on the ship just yet. She's taking her little boat, or they are taking their little boat to the ship. So it's almost like we're not quite embarking on that journey just yet. This is the part before that where we have to kind of psych ourselves up and get there. And this is saying affirmations are going to really help you with that. So you might benefit a lot from listening to affirmations at night. That's the best way to get things to sink into our heads, is when we reprogram our minds at night. What we listen to right before we go to bed is a great way to reprogram the mind to think in a completely different way. So listening to affirmations related to the big change and the positive change you want to have in your life would be super beneficial for you. If you want to go on a health food journey or lose weight, listen to affirmations related to that. If you are making a big change in your finances, maybe you are finally budgeting yourself and getting, financially independent, listen to affirmations about that. You might put some up on some Post-it notes at your mirror so you look at it all the time. Repetition helps to program our like neurological pathways. Okay, so if you are thinking a certain way and you want to think something different, it's not enough to just say something once. It's not enough to be like, I'm going to think like a really good saver. You've got to repeat it over and over to yourself. I save money. Every time I spend money, it comes back to me. I only spend money on really wise things, et cetera, whatever it is, right? So you want to make a positive change in your life, and affirmations that support that is going to allow you to take advantage of this expansive new moon Sagittarius energy. It's very Six of Swords, right? It's very Six of Swords, but I like it because I like that it's more positive. The Six of Swords kind of has sort of like a little bit of like a mopey feel about it, because, everybody's all shrouded and covered up. And there's a little bit of a sense of disappointment, kind of like count your losses and move on to new waters, even though it's definitely about, also about movement, change of scenery, and transformation. But this is a little bit more positive. This is a little bit more focused on the positive and the ways that you can get there through your own mental reprogramming. So, like, less physically going somewhere and more mentally shifting. So, yeah, you might not be changing jobs or moving places or, what have you, so much as shifting your mindset and moving somewhere mentally. Though you might be physically starting over too, but Spirit really wants you to focus on the mental shift and supporting that. All right. Next, Cancer. And again, if these messages resonate with you, I am super grateful for your super chats. Or if you're watching this on a replay, your super thanks. And if you check the description box, you will find other ways to donate, support, or connect with me. Yeah. I like that. She smiles more and more. Yeah. Yeah. That's like the transition, when you first depart, like, it's sad. A lot of times you're focused on what you're leaving behind. And then as time goes on, you get more excited about where you're going because you can start to see it, start to feel it. And what you left behind becomes more of a memory. All right, Cancer. What can you do in your practice? What can you do magically? What can you do spiritually in order to call in this new moon, this expansive energy? Cancer. Give in to passion. Give in to passion. I love this card as a Leo. It has big Leo energy. But give into passion, Cancer. So yeah, there's a lot of transformation that you not that you are undergoing, but that you create for others with what you do. You might be a motivational speaker, an artist, a musician, a performer. What you do helps others to transform. You shift energy with what you create and what you make and what you put out into the world. So embrace that, because that is going to take off. So I really feel like there are some Cancers out there listening that have passions and creative pursuits and interests that perhaps you don't really lean into all the way. You may not spend as much time painting, singing, dancing, making music as you would like. And Spirit is like, no, you really need to do that. Like, you really need to allow yourself or find the time to really spend as much time on that passion as possible, because you do so much for other people with what you do. You bring a lot of magic and music and beauty into the world whenever you pick up that paintbrush, you pick up that pen, you pick up that instrument. And because of what your art and what your passion does for other people, it is only going to take off because people want to feel, they want to experience things. And when they like something and they feel moved by it, they will absolutely support it. You know what I'm saying? An artist can sell out the biggest arena and they don't have to be the best singer. They don't have to be the best dancer. They don't have to be the best whatever. People can totally know that they're like lip syncing. They don't even care because what the art that that person makes moves them and makes a difference for them. So what you do, your passion, it moves people. And Spirit is saying you might not really be fully leaning into it for whatever reason right now. And that might be holding you back from really expanding as far as you possibly could go, traveling and really transforming into something totally new and starting either a new chapter or a whole new book in your life. So if you've been hesitant to lean into your creative passions, probably because of a whole bunch of practical concerns, lean into that. Not only could that be the thing that allows you to expand, but your own expression is also going to be healing and important for you. But yeah, you make a big impact on people when you do what you do. When you do what you do, whatever it is that you do, it makes a difference for people. And giving into that and letting your passion be a major part of your life not only allows for expansion and experience for other people, but it will change things for you too. There was a little chameleon sitting on her foot, like at the bottom of her skirt. I don't know if you saw that. So it's not just that what you do impacts people. What you do, the more you do it, the more you will transform into like that artist or that creator that you envision. All right. Leo. This one is for you, Leo. Woo! I know that's right. And it's so funny because, well, I've been learning more about Vedic astrology, sidereal astrology. If you guys don't know, Western astrology is off from Vedic astrology by about 2 months. Because we just always have to like just be ridiculous. But basically, Vedic astrology goes by like what's actually happening in the cosmos, whereas Western astrology was established like 2,000 years ago, and we just decided to like keep it that way. So it's like off. So definitely take these messages for your sun, moon, or rising signs, but also look into the sidereal and see what your signs are according to Vedic astrology, because you can benefit from listening to both. But if you are a Leo, sun, moon, or rising, the way that you can take full advantage of this new moon in Sagittarius is hibernation and rejuvenation. And I feel this so deeply. This is literally me with Kitty in bed. Literally me with Kitty in bed with my crystals next to the bed, calling on the spirits to bring me dreams. I got to tell you, on the one hand, I love seeing this message because I am so exhausted in so many ways. And I know that I have been working myself basically to the point of burnout. and that I really need deep rest. Like, I'm at a point where even if I sleep 8 hours a night, I am still so exhausted, and I really, really, really need to rest. I need to do less. I need to regenerate and rejuvenate myself. And I keep getting this message because that is so hard for me. And I feel like that's hard for a lot of you, especially the Leos out there, because you're action oriented people. You're fire signs. And when things are not going quite right, your kind of automatic response is to try to work through it. If I just work harder, if I just work longer, if I just do more, I will get it done. And this is Spirit coming in once again to say, actually, you really need to rest right now. You really need to rest. There's a really strong feeling of like overwhelm and, like I said, burnout. And as much as it might be scary and horrifying to sleep when it feels like everything is crumbling around you, as horrifying as it might be to rest when you have deadlines approaching or you have due dates looming, that is exactly what you need right now in order for you to really be ready to expand. It's almost like I don't know, it's like in order to be able to really fill your lungs up, you've got to like exhale all the way first. I don't know if that's a really good analogy metaphor. It's the best one I got. Okay, but that's what I'm seeing. I'm seeing balloons, I'm seeing lungs, I'm seeing like things that expand. Like sometimes you've got to squeeze all of it out, maybe like a sponge, you've got to squeeze it all out in order for it to really be able to suck back up everything that it needs to. So you are going, but you're not going on a full tank. You're trying to go far on like an almost on empty tank. And that is part of why you are not able to maybe fully expand, fully get the traction, fully get the results that you're looking for, because you're going at it with like a half empty tank. And you really need to allow yourself to fill all the way back up. As scary as it might sound to maybe take your foot off the gas for a second, you really do need to pull over and completely refuel so that you can go full steam ahead again, because you're kind of running on E right now. Also, the rest that you are going to get, I find, this crystal right up above her head, the rest that you are going to get is going to allow you to be a lot more clear about where you're going next and what your next steps should be. But there's like fumes blowing back in the vehicle, you're cloudy, you're not sure where to go, you're trying to do too much with not enough gas in the tank to really do any of it well. And you really need to put a pause on what you are doing and give yourself a full, complete break. Okay. All right, Leo. Don't forget to like this video, guys. And if you're new around here, subscribe. This is a surprise, Tea and Tarot. My videos are often surprises because ain't nobody got time to be editing and scheduling things anymore. So I just pop on whenever. So make sure to subscribe, click the bell button so you know when this happens again. Fan me on OnlyFans in case you want to see this, but with my tetas out. If you want, I said today in the live, I was like, if you want your spirituality with a side of sexuality, okay? And I like that. I feel like that rolls off the tongue. So if you want your spirituality with a side of sexuality, then follow me on OnlyFans. Fan me on OnlyFans. Is that what you call it? Is it called following on OnlyFans? I think it's called fanning. I just made that up. Be my fan on OnlyFans. But If these messages resonate with you, definitely you can super chat, or if you're watching this on a replay, you can leave a super thanks, or you can go into the description and find all of the links to my podcast, to donate, to get a private reading with me, all of that. Yes, burning the candle at both ends is definitely the energy. No need to apologize, dear. There's no such thing as late. All right. So that was Leo. Next is Virgo. Welcome, welcome, Betty. Good to see ya. Okay. Virgo. What do you need to do as a witch? What magical moves can you make in order to embrace this new moon in Sagittarius? Virgo. Healing waters. Okay, so this is a very clear call for you to do some spiritual bathing of some kind. Okay, very, very important for you, Virgo. It feels like there's a lack of clarity about what your next step is and how to fully move into it. But there's also some trauma associated with this that needs to be addressed. So, whatever you are moving on from, it feels like there is healing related to that needs to be done. I feel really drawn to the fox here. And in this card, the fox is like really innocent or whatever, just sitting there having a little sippy sip next to you. But the energy of the fox traditionally is a lot more like conniving. Sometimes the fox is like a downright scoundrel, when it's depicted. So it feels like you might even be like closely associated with or living with somebody that is not, I don't know. There's like a shiftiness. There's like a shifty energy about it. I feel like when you see this, you're going to know exactly who this is referring to, but it feels like within your close vicinity, you might have somebody that has a little bit of like a fox like energy. Like they're happy to take from the same well that you're taking from, but they don't necessarily always have your best interest at heart, or they might be kind of sneaky in some ways. And that has caused you some pain. And you might need to heal from that experience, which could be hard to do if you're like living with the person, or if that person's in your family, maybe you're in a relationship with them. So these healing waters might actually be they might be like kind of cord cutting kind of energies. You might be being called to take like a cord cutting type of a bath, a releasing bath to maybe move yourself a little bit away from this individual, or to minimize the impact that they have on you. But yeah, either way, Virgo, you definitely need to indulge in some type of spiritual cleansing to help you not only have greater clarity, but also to like release um the cords, the connections that you have to like deceptive or kind of sneaky energies that are around you. I think it's really important that he's washing over his head, because not all spiritual baths are recommended to be taken over the head. And so this is telling me specifically, like, you really need to do a head wash. You really need to clear your mind. Virgo, this cannot possibly be a surprise to you, okay? Virgo, you tend to think, and sometimes even overthink over analyze. And the answer might be a lot more obvious than you're making it. It might be a lot more simple than you're making it. I feel like spirit is like, you are asking yourself all these questions, you are rethinking and overthinking the situation. And at the end of the day, all you need to do is just like get away from this fox. But a bath will help to quiet all of that overthinking and allow you to see that. Okay. Your lying, conniving ex. Yeah, that's the energy that I was getting from that fox. He looks all innocent in the picture, but that's not the energy that I was picking up on. It's like, yeah, I'm sitting here just like having a little sip, sip, sip by you, but like, what am I really up to? Why am I here? Why am I even here? What am I up to? What am I getting out of this? Yeah. So I don't know what that's about, Virgo, but somebody in your space maybe is not the best energy, and you need to both clear your head about that so you can see that more clearly, but also heal from the damage that's already been done. Oh my goodness. What? That is right up there with like reading your diary, destroying your cards. Wow, that is messed up. I'm very glad that you are away from that person. That is messed up. I can't imagine. I have seen witches break up. When you're a witch for long enough and you have enough witchy friends, you will actually see these things happen where like witches will start dating each other and then they'll break up and it'll be like all of this stuff. I have seen witches break up, and every time that that has happened, one partner will be like, I put all of your crystals and all of your cards in a box and I took them to your mom's or whatever. Like there's always so much respect for the other person's spiritual items. Or like I've even had witches come to me for guidance on like, my ex left her altar at in my apartment. What do I do? I want to take it down because it reminds me of them, but I don't want to be disrespectful. How do I break down somebody else's altar? So like that's really messed up. That's messed up. I'm really glad that you're away from that person. That conniving ass fox. Okay, Virgo, let's take that bath, honey. Libra. Libra. Libra, what magical moment do you need to have to embrace this new moon in Sagittarius? Comment below if these messages are resonating with you. Libra. Libra. You also have the give into passion message, similar to Cancer. So you also are being called to pursue your passionate interest, but also for you, for some reason, I feel called to really focus in on the give in part. I almost feel like there's maybe some type of conflict or pushback a little bit. Where like your passionate side might really 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 be like clawing to come forward, and you are actually fighting it. You're fighting it. You might be fighting it for practical reasons. You might be fighting it because of pressure from others to, I don't know, go another way or be more like logical or something. But it feels like you have a lot of creativity that's kind of bubbling up from the surface. And what's causing the conflict that you're feeling, or maybe a feeling of like stagnation or uncertainty of how to like expand, is you not actually allowing yourself to fully embrace that. And Spirit is saying, give in. You cannot help it. You are an incredibly passionate person. This is natural to you. It just spills out from you. You don't do things necessarily the way other people do. When you move, you literally create beauty, you create magic, you create transformation with your artistic pursuits, with the things that you are passionate about, and you're fighting it. You're fighting it. And you're asking, how do I expand? How do I move into the next chapter of my life? How do I transform into the vision of what it is that I want? But at the same time, you're ignoring how strong your passionate side is and how much it wants to be free and, impact and touch others. So you've got to give in and let it be. Stop trying to minimize it or put it in a box or, push it to the side. Let it bubble up and out whenever it wants to, and trust that you came here with these abilities for a reason. You didn't come here with these skills, with these, this different way of looking at the world, this different way of looking at your art or creating. Like, you didn't come here with those impulses randomly. You came here to share it with the world and express it in some way. And the more you try to or the more you ignore that, the more internal conflict you're going to continue to have. So if you really want to take advantage of this new moon in Sagittarius and embrace expansion, travel, newness, going outside of your comfort zones, going outside of the norm, or what you've come to expect, giving in to your passion is going to be the way to do that. Does it? Do you know it? We got it as a donation at the shop and it called to me. So I took it for myself. One of the benefits of being in the shop. Shout out to Samantha for the donation. Oh, you have it. There you go. That's why. That makes sense. All right. That was Libra. Next, Scorpio. Scorpio. What is your new moon in Sagittarius message for Scorpio? Scorpio, you have learn from life. Learn from life. Scorpio, it's time to get out there. It's time to get out there. Learn from life. I love this like mystery hand in the distance being like, come on out here. Scorpio, you've done enough research. You've done enough preparation. You've got enough in your head. You've got enough in your bag. You've got enough under your belt. Like, Whatever it is that is making you feel like you need to learn more or prepare more before you get out there, you're good. You're good. You are well prepared. You are about as prepared as anybody can be. Now is the time to actually put that preparation to the test and start living it, start experiencing it. It feels like you've been studying up on different topics, practicing in your room. You know, maybe you're interested in dance. Maybe you want to become a doctor or something that requires a lot of, maybe not a doctor. You should probably not, don't do doctor stuff unless you're really ready for that. Maybe doctor's not a good one, but like something else that requires like a lot of study and learning, in addition to like real life experience. But yeah, Spirit is saying it's time for you to actually go and practice these things in the real world. This could be talking about your magic, honestly. A lot of you tend to buy every book, buy every deck, you know, watch every video, maybe even sign up for classes, but now it's time to actually live these things. It's time to live these things. And finding community is going to be important. You don't have to go out there by yourself. Okay. So we were talking about that at the beginning of the live, finding other witches, and having other witches around you. A lot of you will say, oh, I don't have witchy friends, but like, what are you doing to make witchy friends? Maybe not enough, right? If you are just reading the books, where are you going to find friends in the pages of your books? That's not going to happen. At some point, you have to actually go out into the world, start attending events, looking for conferences, taking classes in person instead of online. Like you're going to have to actually live the lifestyle in order to go to your next level, because you really have maxed out what you can learn from in your bedroom. You're done. That's it. It's time to go out and actually live this life. You've gotten all the stuff, you've done all the research, you've done all the learning, and now it's time to start living what you've learned. Okay. You're making more tea? I have enough tea. It's just cold now. You're not alone. Yes. All right. It's time to start living it. Learn through life. The learning through books part might come first, and that's totally understandable to want to have a foundation, and have some general knowledge before you start doing stuff. But now, Scorpio, it is time for you to actually go live what you have been learning. That's the next step for you. You can't expand any more than you have, right? Notice she was in that room, and the room is made out of stone. Like that's it. That's and every corner was filled with books. That's as far as you are going to be able to get in that room. Your next level up comes from actually stepping outside of the room and living the things that you've been learning. Okay. That was Scorpio. Next we have Sagittarius. It's your new moon, Sagittarius. Sagittarius, your new moon message. How do you expand? Sagittarius, you also need to learn from life. Okay. Sagittarius, sharing a message with Scorpio. And I'm feeling drawn, Sagittarius, to this barefoot. I don't think you feel ready at all to step outside of your comfort zone. But you really, it's the only way. It's the only way. Unless you want to stay in the room forever, unless you want to just stay in this little spot forever and not grow, not expand, not travel beyond, which is not like you. You know, that Sagittarius energy, if you are a Sagittarius, you probably know this about yourself. Travel is something you enjoy. Expanding and experiencing new things is something that you generally enjoy. So it is so interesting that you have this hesitancy. And this hesitancy comes not from a lack of desire of trying new things. You want to. You like it, generally. You like it. But you just feel really unprepared. You feel unprepared. You don't feel ready. Interestingly, like, does she have gray hair? No, she has like purple hair in this. But for some reason, it's making me feel almost like there might be some older Sagittariuses that are listening to this message that are maybe feeling like, I can't go out there. You know, I can't make a social media page, or I can't start a channel, or I can't do that because like I missed that boat. Like I'm not made for that. You know, I'm not just right, or I don't look right, or I'm not of that energy, or you know, whatever it may be. And for some of you, it might be the opposite. It might be that you feel really young, like you're too young to explore some of the things that you want to explore, and you need to do more research, or you need to spend more time preparing. You're not quite ready. This is Spirit saying you are as ready as you need to be to get out there. And if you want to experience what's outside of this room, you absolutely can. You're going to be fine. You are going to be fine. It is not going to be disaster and devastation. In fact, as you expand beyond this room, you are going to find others who have maybe taken those steps before you, who can encourage you, kind of pull you along, or, you know, be a friend as you move beyond the confines of this room to starting to do what it is that you really want to do. Okay. Yeah. Love that. Yeah. I that happens to me too. When I will like watch readings, sometimes I'll come for a reading for myself and they'll talk about a sign that's not mine, but I'll know somebody else is going through something and I'll be like, dang, I wish this person could hear this reading right now. Like they really need that message. So I don't know, maybe your dad will watch this live. You can share it with him. Shout out to the dad. And I'm really glad that message is resonating. For those of you who the message is resonating for, you can say thank you to me for my time, my energy. Thank my spirits for allowing me to translate these messages for you with a super chat, or if you're watching this on a replay, with a super thanks, or if you would like to donate off of YouTube, then just check the description for all the links. You can also book an appointment with me if you would like to receive a personal reading. I feel you. right, moving on to Capricorn. Capricorn, what is your new moon in Sagittarius energy? How do you expand? Oh, I hadn't seen this card before. Capricorn, meditation for creativity. Meditation for creativity. So first of all, the meditation message is pretty clear. I think everybody should be meditating, so that's always going to resonate with me. There's another card in this deck that says meditation for clarity, which makes more immediate sense to me. Meditation for creativity is interesting because I don't necessarily meditate for that purpose, but that really feels like that would be very important for you, Capricorn. Because it feels like you maybe don't let your creative side out enough. Yeah. For the Capricorns that are watching, you don't let your creative side out enough. And so because of that, it's almost like, when you have a muscle that you don't use, that's what it feels like. Your creative muscle doesn't get you. I just noticed that the cat's painting. Everybody's painting? Oh, the cat and the dog are painting. Okay, yeah. So it feels like you don't get to exercise your creative muscle enough. And because you're not exercising your creative muscle enough, it feels very stagnant, very stale, very atrophied, like it's a little bit stiff. And that has a lot to do with all of the other things in your life, all of the other priorities that you put before your creative interests. And so, because you tend to prioritize the other things in your life and you don't put enough time into flexing your creative side, it's really kind of not showing up for you the way that it could. And Spirit is saying meditation would actually allow you to maybe quiet down the loudness of all of the other priorities in your life a little bit so that your creative side can actually feel comfortable enough to express itself. Yeah, it doesn't get prioritized. You don't prioritize your creative side. And so, because of that, meditation is going to be really helpful because before you can even let your creative side out, you are going to need to kind of quiet down all of the other stuff that is happening in your life. Perhaps even with your pets and animals. You might work with animals, or you might have fosters, or what have you. Something that's really time consuming, takes up a lot of your energy, that you tend to put first, and that is really important. Obviously, if you have animals in your life, you're going to want to care for them and make sure that they are well taken care of and all of that good stuff. But are you focusing so much on the responsibilities of your life that you're not allowing your creative side to express itself? Meditation will help you not only to have a creative spark of what you even want to do to express your creative side, but it will also help to quiet down all of the things that you tend to put first. Yay! Thank you, Betty. Thank you, thank you, thank you. Thank you for receiving the messages. I appreciate that so much. Your super chats make these lives possible. So I thank you. Capricorn, Sun, Virgo, Moon, Sagittarius rising. These have definitely resonated. Thank you so much, Nerd Fighter Life. That is good to know. I love that these messages are resonating with you. If they are, you can always drop a super chat like Betty, or check my description box for other ways to support. All right, that was Capricorn, right? Next, Aquarius. 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 Make a move. Make a move. This came up in the collective reading I did on the OnlyFans. Make a move. And the message that came through when this came in was small steps, action steps, Kaizen. I was talking about Kaizen on that live. A new concept that I just learned about from the internet. Okay, so I could have it wrong, but what I heard about this term Kaizen was about sometimes when we want to make a change, we feel like we need to make a big drastic change all at once. And Kaizen encourages us to actually make small changes moving towards that big change. I did that in my life and it worked out really well. When it comes to how I eat, I guess I would call myself vegan, or I try to eat vegan. I don't buy meat. I don't buy real dairy, all that stuff. And I started many years ago just being pescatarian. That was my first step, was I'm just going to eat fish and other seafood, but I'm going to, refrain from other types of meat. And then that turned into not eating meat at all. And then the hard one was the dairy, because cheese. Come on. But I was eventually able to let go of dairy and, make the changes, but it was very incremental. And each change that I made lasted a year or two. It wasn't like I woke up and was like, I'm going to be vegan. I'm going to throw away all the meat and dairy in my apartment. I'm going to replace it all and I'm going to start over. I think a lot of times we approach changes in our lives like that, where we see a different version of ourselves and we try to do it all in one go. Or we don't try at all because we think we need to do it all in one go. And it can be really hard, especially if you're impatient, to not do it all at once and to take little small steps and to be okay with being in the middle of the transition as opposed to being like your final full form. So Aquarius, this is saying, don't let your discomfort about being in the middle stages stop you from making any changes at all. It's time to make a move. You've given it enough thought. You have a clear vision in your mind of where you want to go, what you want to do. And what is stopping you is the idea that you have to wake up tomorrow and be at the destination. Instead, make some kind of move in that direction, even if it's the smallest move. And you might benefit immensely from some type of a to-do list or a goal chart. My favorite journal, this is my journal for next year. I already have it ready to go. And I've been using these Commit 30 journals for, I think, 6 years now. I love them. They're incredible. And one of the things that's really helpful about them is every month you set a goal, right? And then underneath the goal, you have your action steps. I think that's what you need to do, Aquarius. whatever this transformation is that you want to embrace, you need to maybe write down or at least think about what the action steps are in order to get there, and then just get started on one of those, because it feels like the big goal is a big enough transformation, that it's making you feel overwhelmed to the point where you're not really making any steps in that direction. Right, exactly. Look at that. Always on time, Pisces. I don't always start with Aries, but I do tend to. It just makes it easier for my brain to like not miss anybody. All right, Pisces, here we go. I appreciate all your likes, guys. Don't forget to like the video. If you want to make sure you don't miss the next one, make sure to subscribe, click the bell notification. If you would like a private reading with me so that you can ask your own specific questions about this new moon or any other question, all of my links are down below. And I am so grateful for your super chats and your super thanks and your donations. Energy exchange is important. All right, Pisces. How do you embrace this new moon in Sagittarius? What can you do magically to expand into new territory? Was just talking about this card. We have meditation for clarity, as I was saying. So meditation for creativity is what the Capricorns had. Pisces, meditation for clarity is going to be needed for you in order to expand into newness, expand into new experiences, to travel outside of your comfort zone. Meditation for clarity is going to be important. This also came up in the collective read, and this was like the starting point of the reading for the collective. So for you, newness or expansion might not really be something that you're terribly focused on, even. It feels like you might be kind of comfortable, or at least for the moment, just sort of settled and still. This card has a very still energy about it, where there's not a lot of motion. There's not a lot of like change at the present moment. You might have already undergone some changes, and now you're kind of like, okay, what's next? What do I think about next? What do I do next? Or where's this going? And Spirit is saying meditation is going to help you to understand and process what you have already been through, what you've already experienced, what you've already learned, so that you can have a clearer vision of like what you might want to tackle next in your life or where you might want to go. But right now doesn't really feel like a time to be doing a lot of movement, a lot of changing or anything like that. Instead, you want to take advantage of like that stillness of the new moon and allow it to bring you enough calm and like quiet so that you can get really clear about what it is you want to embrace next. Because it doesn't really feel like there's necessarily the clearest vision. There's like a feeling almost like I feel like I want to do this, or I feel like I want to be like that, but not necessarily a really clear vision about like what that would look like in your everyday life. And meditation will allow you to more finely fine tune this image that is like hazily there, but not exactly super crisp. It's also really interesting, you being a water sign, how significant the water element is here. So if you've never tried scrying into water or working with water as a form of divination, maybe even reading like tea or tea leaves, um, um, is, you know, sitting at a lake, you know, but like just water divination might be helpful, or using water to assist you with your meditations. So you might play water sounds if you can't actually get out in nature to be by water. But if you can be by water, I would definitely take advantage of that. But it feels like the rushing sound of the water could really help you to quiet your mind, calm your emotions so that you can get more clear about this vision that is like it feels like a shadow, you know, it's like a shadow figure where you can kind of see it, but you can't see all of the features. And so there's like a desire inside to expand into something new. And you kind of can put your finger on what it is, but you really need more time to iron out the details. Okay. So I would definitely implement some type of a meditation schedule with this specific intention in mind. And I think that will help as well, because meditation, I know you took my meditation class or you did the 7-day sadhana. If you still have access to that class, I would maybe replay it and do the 7-day sadhana again. I would do a 7-day sadhana again. Give yourself 7 days of meditation with a specific intention of, I want clarity on what my next step is, what this new version of me is, or what my next expansion is going to be. I have a fuzzy vision of what I want and where I want to go, but I need more clarity on what that's going to actually look like in my real life. What is that going to mean to my everyday life? How am I going to fully embrace and fully become this vision that I have? What is that? Okay. Yay. Ooh, I think this is my first super sticker. Thank you, KD Merck. I appreciate you. Thank you so much. Thank you, thank you, thank you. Yes, may everything you give to me come back to you 3 times 3. That is so cool. Thank you. I'm really glad the messages are resonating with you. Okay. Okay. Yeah, that makes a lot of sense. Looking for work, you're going to have a general idea of what you want, right? You're going to have a general idea of how much money you want to make, or what type of job you want, because maybe you have a career already, or maybe you have a certain set of skills and things like that. But what is the exact thing that you want to call into your life before you sit down at your cauldron to start casting for a new job or calling a new job in? You want to get more clear with what it is. And I actually, like, if I recall, I think you had gotten um, a new job fairly recently, right? So if you're looking for work, then maybe that one didn't work out, or you realize you still need something else. So that is very much in alignment with this message. You have a general idea of what you want, and you might get something that's close, but it might not be exact. Right. Okay. Yes. So you had something momentary and it wasn't exactly what you needed. You needed something long term. You needed something that was a better fit. Obviously, if they didn't re sign, then it wasn't exactly right for them, but it probably also wasn't exactly right for you either. So you have a general idea of what you want. And Spirit is saying you need more clarity so you can call in something a lot more specific. It was a hot mess. See? Yes. Right. So yeah, that, you know, it was close, right? It was like generally in the area of what you work with or what you do. It was something, but it wasn't exactly what you needed. And that could be because what exactly you needed isn't something that even you have really laid out really clear. You might have taken it because you might have felt a little bit of desperation maybe, or like you really needed a job at the moment, so you kind of just jumped on it because the money was great money, because the money was there, right? So there was something about it that was appealing, but it didn't have all of the elements that you needed. And that is partial, not that it's like it's your fault or whatever, but just that, like, the more clear you can be about exactly what the ideal position is for you, the easier it is for the universe to co-conspire with you to make that happen. And so Spirit is saying, if you really want to expand into something new, then we need to have a really clear vision of what that is. And so I highly, highly, highly recommend that you go over the 7-day sadhana challenge again. You guys know me. I do sadhanas every time I am struggling with something. Actually, yeah, okay. I do sadhanas every time I'm struggling with something. Whether it's 7 days, 21 days, 40 days, I will commit myself to meditating on a particular question for a period of time, being mindful on that for a period of time, not trying to make anything happen, just being present and mindful. So I'm open to receive what needs to come in, and what you need are some more uh pieces to the puzzle, more clarity about what your ideal work environment would be, so that you can call that in, as opposed to just calling in something that's close but not quite. Yes. Yeah. Yeah. That's something that, like, even I, after all these many years of practicing, um, I'm still evolving and learning, because, like, I'll think I've been really clear about something, but then I realize that, like, oh, actually, no, I'm saying I want this or that, but I'm not really creating in my mind a vision of exactly what I want to call in. So greater clarity is needed, and meditation is going to help you with that. And I would definitely, start with this new moon in Sagittarius before we move out of this phase. I would get started like in the next day or two. Just give yourself 7 days of consistent meditation and see how much more clear on your ideal job, what that really looks like. Then you can turn to action in making that happen, whether it is changing what you apply to and how you apply to, saying no to offers that don't meet your clear vision, or casting to call it in, whatever the action step is next. But the first step for you is getting more clear. All right, Pisces. All right. I think that is everybody. All right. I gotta run. Yes. If you took the 7-day challenge before, then you should still have access to it. If you can't find it, of course, you can always purchase the class on the HQ online portal. It is available for purchase there, and I think it's only like $25, something like that, and you have it forever. Yeah, that's a great way to put it. Clear guidelines and you need a mold. You need a mold, right? That's a great way to put it. If you have a very clear mold, when you pour that wax, you're going to get something that really looks close to your vision. Okay. Okay, then if you took it through the HQ online portal, then you don't need to find it. You would just log back into your account, and all of your classes are there, and you can just start them over. You can take the classes on the online portal as many times as you want, and it just lives there. Once you've registered for a class, you don't need to re-register or anything like that. The videos are all available for you. All right. Once again, my lovely witches, if any of these messages resonated with you, make sure to exchange the energy, say thank you with a super chat or a super thanks. You can check my description box for other ways to work with me, book private readings, make donations, shop at HQ. all of that good stuff. And if you have not subscribed to this channel and clicked the bell so that you're notified, I definitely would, because I know they tell us YouTubers, be consistent, have a steady day. I would love to be like, yes, I am going to be live at these times, but running the shop full time by myself and coaching the Better Witches and teaching classes and my podcast. Yeah. Maybe one day when things calm down a little bit and I've got some help, I'll be able to do that. But for now, I pop on whenever I can. So you're going to want to turn on your notifications so you know. All right. Good, good. Yes, yes. Thank you, Desi. Thank you so much for being here. I'm really glad that these messages came to you all in time. Enjoy the rest of this new moon in Sagittarius while we're still in that moon phase. It is the beginning of Mercury in microbraids. Okay, so y'all already know what it is. Give yourself patience, extra time, grace, and compassion. Okay, and we will get through it. Get yourself some. I got some retrograde reverse oil from Conjured Cardia right here. Okay, so get yourself together, clean off your hard drives, fill up your gas tank, rotate your tires, leave yourself extra time before embarking on trips. You know the deal. Mercury retrograde. It's not the end of the world, but she can definitely get in the way. And if you prepare yourself properly, it can be a little smoother. Okay. Oh, thank you. Thank you for giving me a super sticker your first time here. Can I just say shout out to that? The internet has a way of getting us used to taking, and not giving back. And we're all guilty of it. I'm guilty of it. Okay. I watch tons and tons of videos. Thank you, Krev. Welcome. I watch tons of videos. I get tons of free information on the internet. People putting out all kinds of knowledge, all kinds of guidance for free. And that's really beautiful. But I do think that has led many of us to become takers. And we're very used to hopping online and getting everything we need, whether it's a message, whether it's knowledge, whether it's just a good time, entertainment, people who have platforms where they're entertaining. And we don't exchange that. We're so used to it just being readily available at our fingertips, so we don't stop and think about how much that person has had to do in order to bring that information to us. So, not just for me, but wherever you are in the world, online, please stop and ask yourself, how can I support this thing that I say I love? Or this thing that I just learned a lot from. Someone posts something that really speaks to you or that is helpful, you learn something. Take a moment to exchange with that person and give something back, and try not to just be in this mindset of take. Everything should be free, because people really work hard and spend a lot of money to bring you this knowledge, these experiences, etc. I'm about to go on a tipping spree myself, because I have a few readers that I was watching earlier today that I need to go back and tip, because their messages spoke to me too. So shout out to you, Katie Mark, for giving a super chat when it's your first time here and being so open and ready to exchange for what you were receiving. I love that. All right, y'all. I will let you all go. I have probably 3 hours of work to do before I get to go to bed, so I need to get on it. But like I said, when I was live on OnlyFans, the message was hitting so hard, I had to jump on here and do a longer reading for you guys. Yes. Thank you. And thank you so much, Betty, for your super chat. I really appreciate you too. Thank you. I appreciate you so, so much. All right, guys. I will catch you all in the next one, whenever it will be. All right. Enjoy the rest of the night. Enjoy the rest of this beautiful new moon. Blessed be.